Hello everybody, thank you for joining me again today. I am Lee from thecraftyspark.co.uk and today we are going to be making Christmas cards. And more specifically, these Christmas cards with a kind of a flippy flappy. Oh look, I haven't done the inside yet. I'll have to do that in a minute. But the reason we are making these cards is because these cards are actually 6x6, and it's not very often with Stampin' Up we actually make 6x6 cards. We tend to go more for the sort of oblong shaped cards really. But I was talking to one of my customers the other day and she said to me that she wanted to do some 6x6 cards and she wanted to put them into a box as well. And I thought, you know what, that would be really nice. So that's what we're doing today. Just for you, Stephanie, 6x6 cards going in a 6x6 box. Right, what I'm going to do, as you can see, I've already made a stack of these. I'm actually going to show you how to make the cards first, and then we're going to look at how to actually make the box. All right, so let's get rid of the usual, sorry about that, it's a bit toot on my desk. Move those over there. And the first thing, whoops, when I've got myself sorted out. Right, we are going to start off. Let's get some cardstock. There we go. Right, to do this card, you need 3 pieces of cardstock. All right, your first one is, how big's this? This is 9 inches by 6 inches. All right, so I've actually cut this from a piece of standard UK sized A4 card, 9 by 6. We've then got another piece, and this one measures 7 3/4 by 3 7/8. So 7 3/4 by 3 7/8. Now you might be wondering why I've done it in sort of a bit of a squiffy kind of measurement. I could have just done 8 by 4. Yes, I know that, but I wanted to make sure that I could get 3 from a single piece of UK A4 card. All right, if you're in any of the other countries that watch my videos, hello, thank you for watching. But you could either adjust your measurements slightly, or you'll probably be able to get 12 by 12 card a bit more easily in your countries. So you might even find it better to change your sizing completely. But this is so that we can actually get it 3 of these from a UK A4, because these are this flappy bit here. All right. Now, when you cut your bigger piece, your 9 by 6, you will have some left over. We will be doing something special with those. Look, see, I've kept them all. Don't ever throw your scraps away, people. Always keep them, because you will always find a use for them. And I have a very special use coming up for these soon. But I'll tell you about that another day, actually. Right, okay, back to this, because I'm waffling. Right, so we've got a card base. We've got another bit of card. We have then got our final piece of card. This little square that measures 3.5 by 3.5. Easy peasy on that one. 3.5, 3.5. Okay, now the first thing you want to do is grab your scoreboard. Let's move those out of the way for a minute. And we're going to start off, we're going to score our large piece of card. So this is the one. Oh, I'm just checking my camera because I just thought I'm a bit squiffy. And I was a bit squiffy. There we go, that's better. So with your 9 inches going across the top, 6 inches going down the side, score your card at 3 inches. Okay, put that to one side. Then get your piece of card that measures 7 3/4 by 3 7/8 and score that one at 3 7/8. Put that to one side. Get rid of your scoreboard. Won't need that for a bit. Just move that out there. Whack your tripod with something, because that's kind of mandatory when I'm making my videos. We have to smack the tripod with something or other, don't we? It'd be boring if we didn't. Right. Now we're going to be using the Wondrous Wreath set. And we are going to use, let me have a look, we are going to use soft suede ink. We're going to use Crystal Effects. We are going to use some Stampin' glitter in gold. We're going to use, I'm just fiddling about in my pot on the shelf here. What's this one? We're going to use some gold embossing powder. And if I can find it, there we go, some heat and stick powder. Now, you're probably thinking, flipping heck, that's a hell of a lot of stuff just for the one card. But you've got to remember, this is a special card. It's a Christmas card, and Christmas cards have got to look special, don't they? And, well, you know me, I don't really do easy. Well, they are easy. No, that's not strictly true. They are easy cards, but I do like to combine different techniques in my cards. And I also like to teach you guys different techniques, because after all, that's what it's all about, isn't it? So what we're going to end up with, when you look at this card, I'm hoping you're going to see, oh yes, you can see, look. Can you see it all nice and shining and glimmering and different effects we've got going on there? Yeah? It looks lovely, doesn't it? So that's what we're going to be doing. All right. Now then, in addition to that little lot, if you have got this set, I hope you have, you will need a big block. What's this one? This is E block, because these wreaths that are in here do take quite a large block. Okay. Right, let me just move these out of the way, because we are going to start with our 3.5 by 3.5 piece card. Now, because we're doing it on photopolymer, it's always useful when you're doing photopolymer stamping to use one of the stamping mats. Now, these you can find in the catalogue. They're only cheap, but they are absolutely brilliant. It's quite a thick piece of foam, and it just makes sure you get a really, really good image from your photopolymer stamp. It's a bit toot on that. Let's do that side. There we go. Nice and clean. Right, we are going to start then with our large wreath. All right. That's a bit of a dirty large wreath. Hang on a minute. Let's clean that up. Oh dear. Look, I was making my daughter's advent calendar yesterday. I've got glitter and embossing powder absolutely everywhere. Let's put that on there. That's it. Just give that a bit of a clean. That's better. Good old Stampin' scrubs. Absolutely brilliant for cleaning your stamps, I would say. That's another one of those. If you haven't got one, you really should get one, because they're fantastic. Right. So with our soft suede ink. Oh, there we go. Oh, I didn't put my hand in it. That was good. It's got to be a first for everything, isn't there? Right, so ink up your stamp. Now you could, if you wanted to, you could even take this further. Whoops. And you could go and start die cutting it as well, because there is actually a die that you can get to go with this stamp. I'm just making sure it's all excellent. I've got it everywhere again. Hang on. What was I saying? I forgot. Oh yeah, I know. There's a oh, there's a die you can actually get, so you can cut these wreaths out if you want to make them look nice and pretty. But for what we're doing today, I think they work just as well without being cut out. Right, so inked up stamp. Put it on your nice 3x3 paper. I've just got to stand up because I want to make sure it's central. because it is photopolymer and when you're using a nice clear acrylic block, you can see a lot easier where you're going with it. But just make sure you line it up as well as you can. About there, I reckon. Now I'm using the thick Whisper White to make this card so that it gives it a little bit of rigidity, because I don't want it too floppy, because of the way the card is made. You want to make sure that it's going to stand up properly, obviously, don't you? So I'm using the thick Whisper White. Now I've probably, there we go, I left it on there rather a long time. No need to do that, but I would leave it on there just for a few seconds before you lift off, because it just makes sure that all the ink comes off the photopolymer and actually goes onto the card. Now the photopolymer is very, very good. Sorry, just cleaning my stamp up there. No, that's what I was doing. It's very, very good. It's very easy to use, and it is not, I repeat, it is not the same as what you would get on the front of the free magazines. I'm sure you know the ones that I mean. Those stamps are actually made from acrylic. And because they're made from acrylic, they're absolutely awful to try and stamp with. So, people, if you have seen them on the front of a magazine and you think the Stampin' Up! Stamps are exactly the same, they are so most definitely not. Oh, there we go. Whack the tripod again. Super duper. Right, I actually want that to dry off a little bit before I do the next step, because my next stage is going to be using this one. And do you know what? I've just realised, I said to you just now, we're going to use the heat and stick powder. We're not going to use the heat and stick powder. No, we're not going to use the heat and stick powder. I'll tell you what we're going to use. Let's get myself in a bit of a muddly-wuddly there. We're going to use, where's it gone? There it is. We're going to be using this one. The, what's it called? Gold Glitz Dazzling Details. That's what we're using. Sorry, let's get myself in a bit of a muddle there. Oh, crash. We are actually going to be using the embossing powder, though. Ta-da! Right, where's my Versamark? Now, when you're using this stamp set, you need to remember, keep your little tabs in the same direction. So I always have mine pointing upwards, because that way you know that you're going to be lining up easier. All right. So ink that up a bit with a nice dollopy bit of Versamark. Yes, I am using a lot. I know my pad's a bit dry. I was doing so much yesterday with my daughter's advent calendar, which I'll put some pictures actually on my blog so you can see it, because it did come out really, really well. The boys' calendars were good, I've got to say. They were the same kind of style, but I did like my daughter's one. I thought it looked really, really special. Right, let's move that out of the way for a minute, because I need some paper. Oh. Right, let's just get that done. Fold that in half. Open it back up. Put that on there. Right, now the reason we had to let that dry off a little bit before we put the Versamark on is because if we don't, oops, there's a hair in there. If we don't, this gold embossing powder will stick to your ink that you've already used, because this embossing powder is so fine, so super lovely, you'll end up with it everywhere. Did it stick to it? No, we're all right. Excellent. Only need to leave it for a little while, but if you don't leave it, you'll end up with some of your leaves being more gold than what you was expecting. Right, now I need to put the heat tool on, which is loud. I will warn you. Let's try and get that embossing powder off my desk. There we go. Right, ready? Da-da-da. And we are. We have liftoff with the embossing tool. Da-da-da. Oh. God, calm down. Calm down. We was playing spaceships this morning before the boys went to school. That was good fun. I think I'm still on spaceship mode. Oh dear, there we go. We are going gold on the card. If your card starts to warp when you're embossing, just keep moving your tool around like that. Round and round and round and round and round, and it will help to stop it. Alright? If you keep it in one place for too long, it will curl your card without a shadow of a doubt. So as the heat is coming out your embossing tool, it's actually heating the card and it's drying up all the moisture that's already in the card. There we go. That's better, isn't it? You see it's curled a little bit, but it's all right. It will flatten itself out as we're using it. It will start to flatten out. Right, so that is all we need from our stamp set for the minute. So let's just move that out over there a bit. Now, the next thing we're going to be doing on here is we're actually going to, what should we do first? Let me think. You see, you've got two things going on. You've got your crystal effects, which you need to let dry, and you've also got your glitter, which you need to let dry. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to do the glitter first. Very, very easy with this. All you need to do, just squeeze it out. See, comes out quite easily. And you're just going to colour in just random leaves, really. I'll stand up a little bit. There we go. So just use the end. Oops, try not to squidge it out too much. If you do squidge it out too much, don't worry, it does sort of spread quite easily. But it, oh goodness, it's because I've got air bubbles in it. Come on, actually come. That's better. There we go. So just go around, plop it on some of your leaves, just randomly. No sort of set pattern really. And because you've already got the ink there as well, you don't have to be too precise on where you're actually putting your glitter, because if you do miss a spot, the ink's already there, so it's not going to look too odd. But if you do it and you think once it's dried, I don't like that, that's gone, that's all blotchy, well, just go and put some more on. That's what you have to do. Very simple. Very easy peasy. In fact, my son came up yesterday when I was making some of these, and he was so impressed he decided to have a go himself. And he managed it. Now, he has a bit of trouble with his hands. He's got what's called hypermobility, which means all his joints aren't as strong as they should be, and they tend to wiggle about and move about too much, and even he managed to do it. So with any luck, you'll be all right if you try it. Right, so can you see now we've got some, I'm trying to keep in focus for you. We've got some with the gold on, we've got some with the glitter on. Now you need to set that aside to dry, because if you try and put your crystal effects on when you've done it, it will be a bit tricky. So here's one I prepared earlier just to show you what we're doing. Right, just sit on, no, crystal effects is blocked. Just when you're using this, it's absolutely fantastic stuff, but it does get blocked up a bit on your nib, especially when you're at the end of the bottle like I am. So I just keep a pin handy. And then all we're going to be doing, let me stand up again. I would move the camera up and down, but I'm not very good at doing it and keeping it all in one place, so I won't. Right, but all you need to do with your crystal effects, again, you're just going to colour it in. Now, this stuff, I don't know how it actually manages it, but somehow it just manages to stay where you put it, and it doesn't really drip, and it doesn't really smudge too much or anything. It's one of those things that, one of those products that we have at Stampin' Up, and people often say to me, oh, I'm a bit worried about using it. Don't be, because it's absolutely fantastic. I love it. And you can use it for so many different things as well. You know, not just for colouring in leaves on a wreath. I made some badges the other day for my team, so that we've all got our team badges to pin to our little aprons when we're doing our crafty stuff. And I also made them some scissor charms as well, and I did it with that shrinklies stuff, whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called now. Shrinkles, I think that might be it. But it's basically, you can use it quite often to make jewellery, and it's plastic that shrinks when you heat it up. So I printed out our little logo, popped it on there for them, and then I actually sealed it using this crystal effects. I'll show you in a minute when I finish doing this, because it came out really well. I was really pleased with it. Right, I think that's about it. So going back to our card, there you go, can you see with that? What I've actually done is we've used just the one stamp set, but because we've used the different effects as well, we've now got brown leaves, well, the soft suede leaves. We've got the crystal effects on the soft suede, which is actually making it go a kind of a bronzy colour. We've then got the gold embossing powder, and we've got the gold glitter. So we've created a really, really pretty variety of effects. You see? So you'd need to leave that for, the crystal effects doesn't really take long to dry at all, really. About 20 minutes for the crystal effects, but your glitter might take a bit longer. So what I would suggest is just keep it to one side, out of the way, until you're ready to do the next bit. All right. Now, where did I put, oh, hang on, what have I done there? I've put back the one that I was actually going to be using. Right, next thing you want to do, grab yourself, I'm just going to get my punch because I've left it over the other side. A minute. There we go. I'm just getting the little heart punch from the Itty Bitty pack. Punch yourself out a little heart, like so. Grab your glue dots, and if you just pop a glue dot on the back of the heart, whoops, can't pick it up. There we go. And you can then stick that into the middle of your wreath. Now this stamp set actually comes with some really lovely sentiments, but I think because I don't know which one to use. What should we go for? Happy Wonderful Christmas, or may happy moments and cherished memories surround you with joy this season? That's a good one, isn't it? And you, I think it's a bit too big. No, we'll go for Happy Wonderful Christmas. Yeah, I like that. Now, what colour should we stamp that in? Oh, that one's not quite big enough. Let's just get a bigger block out. No, that's too fat. That's too fat. That's too thin. This one looks good. This is an H block. Now then, colour. I think because our cards actually ended up with lots of different colours, I'm going to go for, I like that sort of bronzy almost colour, which is pretty close to chocolate chip actually. So I'll go for chocolate chip. A little bit of chocolate chip. There we go. Now, when you stamp the inside of your card, you've got to remember it's opening backwards. All right, so lay your card out flat and stamp on the left, not on the right. Over onto the left, because that's the base that's going to be there. All right. Ink up, like so. Get it all over the block, like so. Where's my mat gone? There it is. Right, let's just try. Yeah. Wipe it down my trousers. That'll do. Oh dear, nearly lost it completely there, didn't I? Right, let's get that roughly in the middle. Back there, I'm thinking. Happy Wonderful Christmas. There we go. Right, so that's the inside done. Let's get that out of the way. Now, when you do your actual card, got ink on me. Bring in your card base again. I think we've already scored. Oh, I've bent it, look. Whoopsie daisy. Never mind. Right, fold it over. Give it a nice burnish. Now, we're going to be opening this bit this way. So we want this bit going this way. All right, because they're going to fold onto each other. So on the back of your card, on your little mini card, pop some snail. And we want to go, standing up again, because we want to go roughly in the middle. All right, or as in the middle as we can get. You could measure it if you want to. I don't. I was talking to a couple of my crafting friends the other day, and we was actually talking about cards lining up, and I said, oh, I just stick mine anywhere, they just go in the middle, and both of them like, oh my god, you can't do that, I have to measure it and make sure it's absolutely spot on. That's good. Oh dear, life's too short for that. No, can't be doing with that one. Just bung it on there, that'll do. It looks alright, doesn't it? It's fairly central. Yeah, why not? Right, I've got to be a bit careful with this because it's still a bit wet, isn't it? But what I want to do is I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back, trying not to smudge the crystal effects, because you have to wait until it's completely dry. If you stick your finger in it before it's completely dry, you'll end up actually leaving a fingerprint in it. Oops, so I'm trying really hard not to touch it, which is not easy when you're working on the back. There we go. Right, so dimensionals on the back. Peel the backing paper off. I nearly forgot to do that. That would have been stupid, wouldn't it? Oh, I've done that before. Right, peel the backing paper off. I've just realised I'm waving this around right in front of the camera, aren't I? Sorry. Put it back down there a bit. Is that better? You can actually see it now. I bet you're sitting there watching this thinking, oh my goodness, what on earth is she doing? And breathe. There we go. Right, let's get that lined up as good as it can get. There we are. Right, so there is the card. All right. So this is the card. And we open up Happy Wonderful Christmas. You could put something or other down there, I suppose, if you wanted to, but I quite like it. I like it to be quite simple because it's really the wreath that I wanted to pop out on this one, so left it like that. All right, I hope you enjoyed that today. Now the next one we're going to be doing is going to be the box to actually put these cards in. So that will be my next video. Everything that you need to make this card is all going to be on the blog post, and the blog post that goes with this card you're going to find in the written bumpy bit underneath the video. So if you just click on the link, it will take you straight to my blog, and then you can order everything you need to make your card. And then if you come back and see me in a couple of days, you will see the box that we're going to make to keep them all in. So you could either use the box as a gift for somebody, or you could just use it for yourself to keep all your lovely cards in. But until next time, I will see you soon. Bye.